short video just to talk through pedigrees a little bit, go over how to interpret them and how to draw your own, so that when you are doing your assignments and you see a chart like this, it is not something that you are unfamiliar with. So the first thing with building any pedigree is to keep in mind what trait you're talking about. So remember that a pedigree is a way of tracing a trait through multiple generations. So we need to make sure we know what trait we're talking about. And in this example that we're going to be doing, I'm going to be doing the trait of freckles or no freckles. So I'm going to say that for this pedigree, filled in shapes mean that an individual has freckles. Not filled in shape means that that individual does not have freckles. And we'll just block our key out of the way up here so that we have it. So I'm tracing freckles versus no freckles, and I'm going to be tracing my mom's side of the family. First generation is my grandfather and my grandmother. And remember, male square, female circle. If you need a way to remember that, I have kind of a silly way to remember, but I think of SpongeBob. SpongeBob is square in shape and he's a male. I'll try and draw him here. That's my bad drawing of SpongeBob. Anyway, there's SpongeBob, he's a male, he's square. There happens to be a female character in SpongeBob who has a very round shaped head, and that is SpongeBob's friend Sandy Cheeks. That's my poorly drawn picture of her. Those of you who haven't seen SpongeBob, Sandy's head is actually in a water jug, or more like an air jug to keep air around her head so she can breathe underwater, but it makes her head circular. So Sandy Cheeks is female, circular and round. That's how I remember the difference. So if that helps you, you're welcome to steal that. So back to our pedigree. We've got my grandfather, we got my grandmother, and I can tell you that my grandfather had freckles, so I'm going to color in his square. So, first generation done. Now we want to show our second generation. So second generation means my grandparents' children, or my parents. So I'm going to make one line down from that connector line. Remember, we have the connector line to show my grandparents were together. We want a line that shows that they had kids together. So when you draw kids or offspring on a pedigree, you draw them under one big bracket. So my grandparents had 4 kids. I have 2 uncles, an aunt, and then my mom. So all 4 of those kids need to fall under our bracket. We're going to draw a line extending down from each one. But see how they're all sort of under this big umbrella under their parents. So it's really obvious looking at this that it comes down from the parents, splits out, and then we have 4 kids under them. One of my uncles had freckles. And then my mom has freckles as well. So at this point, we've got 2 generations, grandparents, parents. We still need one more generation because I exist. I'm in the 3rd generation. So I need a way to show that I came from my mom and I'm a part of this family, but I also need to show in this pedigree that my mom and dad had offspring of their own. So I'm going to draw my dad off to the side here. Again, square because he's a male. We have a connector in between my 2 parents to show that they had offspring together. Remember that this line between these 2 individuals is different than this line that's over my mom and her siblings. This means that they're related as siblings. This means that they're related maybe by marriage or that they just had offspring together. So my parents are right there. We're going to bring another line down for my sister and I, another bracket for us to fall under. And then those of you that know, I have one sister with my parents. So there's our 2 lines connecting us. We are under the same bracket with my parents. We're part of this whole family, but it shows that my dad came from outside of the family and married in. And then lastly, I have freckles. And my sister has freckles as well. So now, hopefully having built this pedigree from the ground up makes it make a little bit more sense. Again, we can tell really quickly by looking at this who are the males, who are the females, who is married or has offspring together, who are related as siblings, and how many generations are in this family that we're showing. Let's do one more example. So for our key this time, let's choose a different trait. This time I'm going to do the trait of hitchhiker's thumb. So if you have a hitchhiker's thumb, it means when you do a thumbs up, there's almost like a sharp angle between your thumb, and you can kind of see how it's bent. Some people cannot do that. Some people, their thumbs up is more like this, straight. So let's do hitchhiker's thumb. So a colored in shape is going to mean somebody has hitchhiker's thumb. And not colored in is going to mean a straight thumb. Let's say this family starts off with our first generation of parents. And this is a made-up family, so I'm going to just make up examples of hitchhiker's thumb or no hitchhiker's thumb. But let's say in this family that this first pair of individuals, let's say the mom had a hitchhiker's thumb and the dad did not. And let's say these parents have 3 kids, 2 daughters and a son. I'm going to connect them under that bracket. Remember, that whole bracket shows that they're all siblings. And then let's say that all the daughters got hitchhiker's thumb. So if they have a hitchhiker's thumb, they're going to get colored in. And then let's say that this son meets a wife. Neither one of them have hitchhiker's thumb, and they have 2 kids. And how about none of those kids have hitchhiker's thumb either? So here's another example. We can see when we're tracing the trait, it existed in this first generation, it existed in this second generation, but by the third generation, maybe it isn't showing up because this individual had kids with somebody else that didn't have a hitchhiker's thumb. Try your hand at it. Good luck drawing your pedigrees. Good luck on this week's assignments. And as usual, if you have any questions, please reach out to your science teachers. We're here to help you and answer your questions. And pedigrees can be a lot of fun once you get the hang of it. So I'm here, excited to help you out and excited to answer your questions. Feel free to reach out anytime.